Welcome to the weekend, and what better way to kick it off than joining us here on BizTV. She is Danielle Wright, and I am Tim Parmeter, and we are your hosts for the Franchising 360 show. Every Friday night, we're going to take a 360-degree look at the franchising industry. Franchising is typically not at all what people think it is, and we're going to educate you on things like, should you own a franchise? And if so, how do you know which is the best one for you? Once you are a franchise owner, we're going to talk about strategies to grow and succeed, as well as show you how to take your existing business and turn it into a national or maybe even international franchise brand. Tonight, we're going to talk about the how to become a franchise owner and how to become a franchisor. Before we get into all of that, we got to get into some facts. Danielle, tell us, with your years of expertise and brilliance in this industry, what was the very first franchise?
I don't know. What was the first franchise? Was it KFC?
Why are you the co-host if you don't know these answers?
Because I'm cute.
Oh, okay. Good answer.
Thanks.
So the very first one, there's actually kind of a little fun fact. We think it was Singer, not like singing, but the old sewing machine thing.
What's a sewing machine?
Well, it's this thing where back in my day, we had to darn our socks.
Oh,
so
darning.
sometimes
That's a whole nother conversation.
Sometimes the socks aren't good. You have to darn them.
Oh.
So I think that's what that was.
I don't know the definition of that, but we're going to
roll
roll with
either.
it. You're old. I'm not. It's fine.
But we can Google sewing machines. But the interesting thing, not only was the Singer guy, forget his name, but that would have been great info, was he starting the very first franchise, but he may have been a prodigy because the year it was supposedly turned into a franchise, he was 8 years old.
We're underachievers.
Doesn't it make you feel kind of like a slacker?
Because at 8, I was not darning any socks at 8.
No, I was being darned a lot by my parents. So so you said your thing was KFC,
which is Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Thanks for clearing that up.
You know, some people may not know the acronyms, and we got to be sure to educate.
And just to clear things up, I am old, but I did not, in fact, graduate with Colonel Sanders.
Darn.
He was 2 years ahead of me.
Oh.
So, and secretly, I gave him the recipe, and he stole it from me. So I'm still a little bitter.
I love that you love your jokes.
Yes,
I mean, that's what you're here for.
So KFC, because a lot of times people will think more McDonald's, but there were even a few before KFC.
Well, I think most people go to McDonald's, right? Because, Ray Kroc, and there was a whole movie and things. Like, how do we not know about? But what was the first non-food franchise? There's 4,500 franchises out there. How many are food?
I'm pretty sure sewing is not a food, so I would have gone with that one.
If that one was or wasn't, you're debating whether it was or it wasn't, if we're not going down that path.
Well, one of the first really big ones that everybody knows, and sometimes maybe don't even know it's a franchise, is Marriott and the hotel chains. But we like Marriott.
We
do. Marriott Bonvoy member. Thank you. And so this episode is not sponsored by Marriott, but Marriott, call us.
Yeah.
Where did they get their start?
I don't know. You're asking me questions I am not sure of. Can we fast forward to 2024?
I don't know. Can we? Yes, we can. But the A&W root beer, they were one of the first franchise owners of A&W. Did you know that?
I did know that.
You did?
Because you told me that.
I just
before
told you
we
that.
got on this call.
I told you that. So why would, we talked about this a little bit last week, but kind of, again, just maybe really briefly for those poor suckers that missed the first 2 amazing episodes of this show.
That's a bummer.
Shame on you, but you're forgiven.
Go back and rewatch it.
Very briefly, a franchise, kind of what is the concept of a franchise business?
So to your how or why or would or what, why would you want to be a franchise? Maybe that.
Sure.
I mean, I've got lots of answers for you. We could talk for hours, apparently, that we're here. You do it because you want to scale, and you don't necessarily have the income or revenue or cash to do that. Building one location, as we know, can be expensive. I mean, A&W, right? McDonald's. And if you are looking to replicate that business in a timely fashion, franchising is a good way to do that.
Right.
Do it with other people's money, as they say.
And to be that's the franchisor. To be a franchise owner is more of, hey, somebody's already kind of figured this out. We in theory now can follow their proven system and plan.
Correct.
Right.
You're hoping you're buying the business in a box.
Right, exactly. So as we want to talk about really, again, the how of this, right? So
you have to remind me of that. How? Got it.
Can we become a franchisor? So we've got, I own
guy with the plan.
I own Tim's Sandwich Shop. I make a great peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's awesome. So I want to turn it and I want to grow it and turn it into that. So we're going to talk about that next on. So I want you to walk everybody through some of the main things or basic things to think about to turn your existing business into a franchise. So we're going to talk about that on the Franchising 360 show right after this. We are back on the Franchising 360 show. I am Tim Parmeter and this is Danielle Wright. Tonight we are talking about the how to become a franchisor. And a little bit later, we're going to get into how to become a franchise owner. So Danielle, you've been in franchising for 15 years.
Forever.
You've worked some of the biggest brands in franchising.
A lot of them.
As well as some that have just gotten started.
Probably shouldn't have.
Multiple industries you've been in. You've been on the franchise development side.
I have.
You've been a C-suite executive.
This is my whole entire resume.
You own a consulting business.
Yes.
And along the way, you've been named a top influencer in franchising multiple times.
Whoa, that's a blast from the past, but okay.
I know. I'm just kissing up. Whatever works for me on this. So, but in reality, there's not much you have not seen in franchising. So I can't imagine anybody better to ask.
So I've gotten around is what you're saying.
You've been around a little bit, but in the nice way. So
I expect that.
How do I take my business? Let's say I own Tim's Sandwich Shop.
Which he doesn't, but okay, yeah.
But I could.
You could.
How do I take this and now turn this into a franchise?
Well, I have some questions for you.
Fire away.
How do you make a sandwich?
Usually with the bread and the stuff.
And the stuff.
Yeah.
But what kind of stuff? Where do you get the stuff?
Oh, I don't know. It's like the store.
Okay. Can you get it at any store?
Well, I'm cheap, so I get it at Walmart.
Oh, okay. Again, another plug for someone that is not sponsoring us, but thank you so much. So the questions are important. Is it a business that you can replicate? Is it something that you can put together a key operations manual and really be able to tell you, Tim, as I am Danielle, as we've clarified that, if I'm going to take Tim's Sandwich Shop and open it as Tim's Sandwich Shop with Danielle, you have to be able to tell me how I do that. How do I walk through every step of the process?
Gotcha.
From turning the keys to the door in the morning, at what time do I need to do that? Where do I store stuff? So you've got to get really into the minutia of how your business operates, document every procedure. And then once you do that, it's pretty easy.
But really none of that sounds easy, but incredibly important because all of a sudden now franchise owners come on and they are all over the place, right? We're not right down the street. They've got to have every last little detail. That's the whole reason why somebody would become a franchise owner.
Correct.
It's because those things have been detailed.
Business in a box.
Okay.
We're always going to go back to business in a box.
So, and I know in franchising, there's rarely like one set definite answer. It's always this. How long might it take somebody from, I would like to turn my business into a franchise to now I can start finding franchise owners?
Wow. Okay. That's a big request. I think some of the stuff that we're going to talk about later about how to become a franchisee is going to take the same timelines. I would always say it really comes back to who you are and how quickly you want to do that. As far as getting the legal information together, it's going to take a couple of months. And to the same thing that we were talking about, the operations piece is key. If I can't replicate it and I can't teach someone to do it and I don't have the documentation, you need to put that together. So it could take 6 months. It could take a year. My recommendation, as you've said, long time, I've worked with lots of brands, nothing like making me feel old. I want someone to be in business for a year and really think about it before they say, let's put our model together, and then spend another year trying to put that model together and then put it out to the world. You're going to have numbers. That's another conversation we'll talk about, but it's really important to think about. I can't just bring an owner in and say, this is how you make the sandwich, Tim, but this is how much money you get to make by making the sandwich, Tim. Right,
because we've proven that over however much time in our kind of an initial location, right? So you mentioned a little bit on the legal side, and this is this is an entire episode.
Totally, maybe 5.
Down the road, but there's
no
that
one likes
component.
The words legal.
There's being able to just, kind of things like branding. I don't know, have we seen the franchise in 360 months? But being able to have the branding, have the logo, the trademark, that's why this is not a quick process.
It's not like you opened Tim's Sandwich Shop yesterday and say, I'm going to offer franchises tomorrow. I mean,
Correct.
Good for you, but don't buy it.
There's some time. Don't buy it. So once we get to that point, okay, we've done everything. We've gone through all those checks along the way. Whew, now amazing. Now I need franchise owners, right?
Yes.
Now, how do we go about doing that?
Asking.
Ask who?
Ask people. People on the show, people you know. The reality is your first franchise owners are likely going to be your customers, consumers, people that have already had Tim's Sandwich Shop and they love sandwiches, but they have to drive 30 minutes to Tim's Sandwich Shop. So those are your brand believers. Those are the people that are generally going to become your first franchise owners. But those are the people that you want in your brand. They're passionate about your purpose, mission, and vision. Again, you need to have that as part of your franchise model. What's your purpose, mission, and vision of your sandwich shop?
Right.
Good sandwiches.
And down the road, that may not be as big of a deal. That could be somewhere across the country. They've maybe not had it, but they see the model as something that they can get behind.
Correct.
But early on, you're going to have that
replication.
But then it is either kind of internal or maybe external. Like you got to go find these people, right? And that's not an easy thing either.
No, it's marketing. We talked on the last couple of episodes that marketing is key to grow your business, but it's also how you get people to understand that you are a business that is willing to have franchise owners. I mean, again, we're going to reference McDonald's and the Ray Kroc show and all of those things. He was on a golf course talking to his regular buddies about this great burger opportunity. So it's going out into your world, into your community and leveraging those relationships. It's called marketing.
Marketing and networking.
Marketing.
And that's at least kind of
networking. That's a bad word.
That is a bad word and a fun word all at the same time. So that gives us a little understanding of a kind of high level of how to become a franchise owner or franchisor. When we come back, let's talk about how you can go about becoming a franchise owner, maybe of Tim's Sandwich Shop. Who knows? That's next on the Franchising 360 show. Thanks again for spending part of your Friday night with us. She is Danielle Wright. I am Tim Parmeter, slightly less energetic than that. But let's say you want to become a franchise owner, but how in the world do you navigate 4,500 potential franchise brands to find your best match? So what a great thing to ask our expert, Danielle. Danielle, how does somebody find their best franchise now?
They like it.
They like it.
They like a brand.
They like a brand.
They like a franchise.
Okay. But what if I
go to a gym? Do you go to a gym? Apparently not. Do you go to a gym?
No, but I'm going to have a therapist, or they have counseling franchises?
Yes, they do have counseling franchises.
Then we're good. Okay.
But isn't this what you do for a living?
Well, it is what our team at Fran Coach does, is we help people figure that out.
Nice plug.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, at least Fran Coach is paying for this. The other ones we've mentioned are not.
True. So you are a sponsor of the show.
Yes.
Fantastic. So what does Fran Coach do when people want to buy a franchise or consider becoming a franchise owner, as you would say?
Well, and again, good clarity is franchise owner is also considered a franchisee.
2 E's?
I believe there's a Z and 2 E's.
Awesome.
Right? So Z and Zor.
Okay.
Fancy little lingo.
But how do you help them find which one? Because if it's 4,500 brands, right? There's a lot, and then there's food, and then there's things, and that's a lot. Now I'm already overwhelmed. I don't want to do it.
Yes, which is why, honestly, that's why people talk with us, is that it is overwhelming. And a lot of how you find the best franchise to own is not like anything else that we've ever done.
Why is it not like anything you've ever done?
Okay, so you want
to haven't you been a franchise owner?
I have.
How did you choose a franchise?
Well, that's probably not a good example. But for most people with this is you think about let's Google, where should we go eat tonight?
Okay.
So
where are we going to eat tonight? See you totally. I'm already
Google,
on food.
I'm hungry. So after the show, we'll figure that out.
Are we going to own that franchise too?
Maybe. We'll Google that later. But in reality, the franchise people end up owning is almost always something they didn't know existed before they got started even thinking about this.
Give me an example. So you don't go to the gym, but would you own a gym?
Could and have.
Ooh, tell me more.
So
why?
That's a really good question. That's a whole nother episode, why we own that.
Or more importantly, why we don't own it.
But and again, this is really a whole nother segment or show on just industry experience. Is that
because it's 4,500 brands.
It does not.
How many industries is that?
it's well over 100. And then probably little subcategories and niches in there as well. So being able to understand most important thing in a franchise, we talked about, the plan that they're going to have, follow the plan, but you're the one that's got to get your butt out of bed and go run the business every day. So you really have to understand what is it that you're good at and you want to do.
Good at a lot of things.
Well, we know you are good at everything.
That's so
you're
sweet.
Perfect in every way.
Okay, so I could own all of them.
That was recorded, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you could own all of them, but you really have to figure out, even with all of your immense skills.
Yes, because you've given my resume here.
Right. There's few things that are going to be a little bit better, or maybe you just like doing better than others.
Oh, that's a given.
So you've got to figure out that.
It's called competition.
Right. Even people that you're around, your staff, your customers, your community, all of those things factor in. And even things like how you're going to connect with the brand, the people in that franchise, because this really should be a partnership for you as the franchise owner and that franchisor.
But as a partnership, I got to pay for it.
Well, you do have to pay for the partnership.
Oh.
Yes. Not unlike being married.
Oh. When did I have to pay for that?
No, you didn't. So,
because if so, I need a return check. Like, where does that go? Can I box you in an Amazon box and ship you back? I'm really confused.
I've thought that many times. But
thanks. Yay.
Yes.
So,
but you do. You have to be. You do have to have that connection with the franchisor. So all of those things matter. So it really is kind of reverse engineering. Like, you kind of get a chance to be selfish when you're trying to figure out how to do this. Which I know we're always told, don't be selfish, don't be selfish. You do have to, because again, you as that individual looking to become a franchise owner, what do you want to do? There's not one best amazing thing out there for everybody. That's why there are 4,500 brands out there.
You talk a lot.
I'm in franchising. That's what we do. So yes.
You get very passionate about this franchise owner thing.
It is.
How long have you been doing that exactly? I've known you for a while, but like
10 years.
How successful are you at it?
I'm probably not very.
Really? But you have a show about it.
Yes.
About
a couple of them.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
In general. Yes. So it is.
I'm really wondering which franchise you'd pick for me. And the silence is deafening, folks.
It's just because I'm just thinking through all of the things you're amazing at and trying to determine which of those we would pull out.
Okay, we've got that I'm amazing. That's awesome. But really, come on now. Like, throw one out there. Like, wow.
Wow.
So I saw that sign.
There
was no hidden
sign like that. No, with franchising, it really is a chance to like create your thing, what you want.
Do we do stuff that ties to our experience? Like, because I'm so great at franchising, apparently, why would I be a good franchise owner?
Well, that's a fantastic question, and how that experience rolls into how you find that next one. That's what we're going to talk about when we come back on the Franchising 360 show. Welcome back to the Franchising 360 show. Before we wrap up how to start a franchise, I want to take a moment to answer a viewer question. This came in from Logan in Arlington, Texas. And Logan asked, in franchising, you often hear that if you want to be successful, you need to follow the system. Understanding that every system is different, could you please provide some examples of when you've encountered people that didn't follow the system and some of the challenges that it created for them in becoming successful? Logan, first off, thanks for sending in the question. Next time, send shorter ones. That was a lot. But before we get to the answer, we want to thank Logan for actually listening to the first and watching the first couple episodes. So that was pretty cool.
Yep.
And he gets merch. Who doesn't like merch? Franchising 360 show mug will be coming to you in Arlington very soon, Logan. So thank you for that. So now, we
have a question.
We have holy crap.
How do we answer a question? It's a lot.
Good thing we're experts. So basically, follow the system, follow the plan. What I'm thinking, Danielle, is that might be worthy of a whole dang episode.
That is worthy of a whole dang episode, because you just asked me about Azor and making it a plan, and here you go, you have to execute it. But is he kind of asking, how does it not work?
There's a little fear of failure in there, I believe.
Fear is a big reason of why people fail.
Yeah.
And that's how it doesn't work.
Well, but it's also why they're successful too. fear is a great emotion to motivate you to, like, the fear of, you calling me fat is going to make me go to the gym. So there's that fear.
That's great.
Motivation.
I'm going to live for this for forever. This is awesome.
So
watch further episodes to see the digs on that.
But the fear is okay, right?
Fear is okay. Fear is okay. Just like you said, it inspires you to do something.
And it's okay if it inspires you to not do it as well.
I think you always say everyone's entitled to their successes and everyone's also entitled to their failure.
Yes. Right.
Such a weird word.
Yes. And even that's kind of relative. And you've talked about this before, but like, if there's 100 people watching, which, let's be honest, there's no way there's 100 people watching.
Maybe there is. Maybe 101.
But if there are,
yes.
Maybe only 1 or 2 might ever actually own a franchise.
It's the 99 and 1.
Right.
1 out of 100 is actually going to become an owner. But the reality is failure rates are okay in franchises. Like they generally budget for 10 to 20% of their system not staying in it for the term of the agreement.
Right.
So when a lot of those things happen, like your question has asked, they don't follow the plan, or guess what? It's not even just following the plan. I don't want to do it anymore. Right. And that's valid. I'm not even sure I want to do this show anymore, but here we are.
Nor am I. So, but that failure piece too, and when somebody hears that number, oh my gosh, franchises are thinking 10 to 20% may fail. Fail is relative. We like, not to make light of this, but we had a client a few years ago. Literally, he passed away. Right, and so that's not.
I'm sorry.
Failing. That's
sad.
Right, it is. But these things happen. The stat that I always kind of point out to people in franchising, it's like after 4 years, roughly 90% of franchise businesses are still open and operating. That's
a good metric.
Right? Which is really roughly
That's positive.
Well, right. Which is roughly the same number of marriages that are still intact after 4 years as well.
Well, we beat that, I guess.
No, it's not. It hadn't been 4 years.
Darn it! Feels that long.
Feels that long and longer, but it's really.
Now, but you should have just rolled with it.
But it's really.
Dear. Feels like yesterday.
It's just every day is the most blissful day of my life. So,
but that's not a failure.
It's not yet. No, but it really is that opportunity to lean into the failure or the fear of it. To when you think about how do you find that best thing. Well, if you can find the things that you're actually really good at,
which we've accomplished, I'm a lot. Yeah.
You everything.
Yes.
But maybe Logan, he's
Logan's going to be great.
He's good at
he's got a good
5 things really.
Starting in the right space.
Yes. 5 things that he's really, really good at and he really wants to get out of bed and do every day. If he can find a franchise that has those things in it, that's going to put him in a great chance to not fail. Right. So, but I'm thinking this needs to be our whole next episode.
Next? Failure?
The plan and the importance of it to help them
for success. We're not using failure.
We're going to plan to succeed.
Plan to succeed.
Yes. Hope for the best, plan for the worst, I think.
You would know.
Is that how that goes?
I think that's how that goes.
Right. So if not, we've just made it a thing.
We always have a thing. Right. Now we have a thing. High five.
Oh, perfect. So, but what we also want to thank again, Logan, for reaching out, and for you, for everybody who doesn't want, a mug. Come on.
You have your best beverage in that, and not just coffee.
And I've not spilled today, so that's a bonus. So, but
so much more I want to add to that, but I'm so proud of you.
But we need to wrap up and let people get on with the rest of their lives. If you would like one of these, or you want to send in a question, please do, because we got to have things to talk about. And as we've already said, we've told you we're experts, so clearly that has to be the case. The franchising360show.com. I know that's a lot of letters, but I promise it'll be worth it. Send us a question. We'd love to be able to talk about that on our next episode.
Even on the house, right? Hey, you have a business and I want to turn it into a franchise. Send us the question.
Right.
We're much better on the phone.
Yes. So we want to be able to do that. And then really, thanks for tuning in. Next week, we are going to talk about the plan with a franchise, how you can use that to be successful. Don't worry about fear and the failure.
We might have a guest.
Lean into it. We do have guests.
Talk about it.
We do have guests coming up.
So it's not just us.
Right. But that's not the next episode.
Is it?
No.
Oh.
Right. So anyway, that is us.
But there may be.
There could be. Tune in to find out. We have no idea. So, but as always, thank you so much for tuning in to the Franchising 360 show.
What show?
The Franchising 360 show. Reach out to us, thefranchising360show.com, and we will talk with you on our next episode.